In this one, we will see various ways of filtering a subset of items from any given vector. This includes understanding the which function, understanding the concept of Boolean mask, and so on. These concepts are very much essential and important for anyone to have a handle on working with vectors. Let's get to the R code. Let's start with creating the visitors 28 and sales 28 vectors. We have seen this in the past. Visitors 28 represents the number of visitors coming to the online pizza company's portal for the 28-day duration. So is the sales 28 represents the number of sales happened. I will use these two vectors for the rest of the video. Clearing the screen. Now I want to understand how many visitors came to the portal on the days on which discounts were given. We know that every fourth day discounts are given, so I am storing the indexes of subsequent 4 days the discounts are given and pass that as the argument inside the square brackets. This is quite a straightforward way to get a subset of the vectors for every fourth day. Now let's try to use a logic based approach. Now I want to see how many visitors came whenever sales 28, that is whenever the sales was more than 140 units. To do that, I'm going to use the which function. What which function tells is it takes a Boolean vector as an argument. Now if you just run this part of the command, let me take it outside. If I just run this part of the command, it tells me what are all the values of sales that are greater than 140. From index position 22 onwards, it is greater than 140 units. Now this is basically a Boolean vector that is getting passed as an argument to the which function. Now if I run which of this Boolean vector, I will get the positions at which the values were true. So in positions 22 and onwards, the values was true, and that is exactly the output of which function. Now this gives the index positions. If you pass these index positions to sales 28, you will get to know which are all where the values of sales 28 at those positions. Now to see the visitors on those days, you pass the same index position to visitors updated, and these are the values. So that is essentially what which function does. Basically get the positions at which the value evaluates to true. Now to which function it is possible to pass more than one Boolean based logic. Now here I want to get those sales where the value was greater than 120 and it was a multiple of 4. This notation percentage 4, this gives the reminder when sales 28 is divided by 4. Each value of sales 28 is divided by 4. Remember we saw vectorization earlier. Since by default R is a vectorized language, any operation done on any vector gets applied to each and every item of that vector. So the output of this will return true in places where both of these conditions are true. Now passing this to which function will get these are the positions where the values were true. Pass this inside square brackets, we get the sales values on those locations. Like ampersand is used to evaluate an and, logical and. Both this condition as well as this condition should be true when you use an ampersand. To implement a logical OR, use the pipe operator. This key is present right above the return key. You need to use a shift to enter this particular key. It's called the pipe operator. If you do this, you get the positions where sales 28 is both a multiple of 6 as well as a multiple of 4. Pass it to square brackets, we get the sales values and the visitors values in those positions. Now masking, we have already seen masking. I have just not introduced the term. This output that we get, the Boolean output that we get, is also called a mask, a Boolean mask. In the earlier notation, we passed the indexes to the square brackets. Indexes of positions of sales 28 was passed to sales 28 to get the respective values. Alternately, instead of passing indexes, you can just pass the Boolean mask to get those values. Now, this is the mask. Instead of using the positions, I'm passing the mask itself, and we get the answers. The sales at those positions where it is both a multiple of 6 as well as 4. Hope that is clear. Now let's do a mini challenge. So this is the mini challenge for this video. The pizza company floated a survey to 1,000 people to check their liking of their flagship pizza. A subset of people responded with a rating between 1 to 5. If the value is 0, it means there was no response. And try to answer these questions based on this input. And we have an input code that goes into this question. This code is available in this URL. You can type in this URL in your browser or use the source function in your RStudio and pass this URL as a string to the source function. You will be able to run this line of code. Give it a shot. I will show you the answers in a few seconds. So here's the answer. I'm going to use the source function to run this. By running this single line, what essentially happened is all this line that is present in this URL, if you take your browser to this URL, you will see these lines of code appearing there so that you don't have to type it out manually. Now, if I see the value of survey sent age, these are the values, and survey responses, these are the values. Now, the solution is this. So, number of respondents, sum, and rating greater than 4. Hope you were able to manage that. We are really making good progress so far. We have covered many aspects of working with vectors so far. There are more aspects, more concepts left in vectors itself. We will see nearly all of them in the upcoming videos.